Welcome back, and today what we're doing is we are talking about the banners that will be going live tomorrow. Tomorrow I will work on making a video for Mystia, but today we are going to be talking about Numera. We can talk, we'll do a quick breakdown on Valeria. Valeria is very good. She's especially good in Gear Dungeon 2 along that left side. She takes out that a few of the physical clones of the Volca clones, and her ultimate, the way she works is when she dies from this, she doesn't buff the boss. So good to have. Her talent increases attack and defense based on lost HP up to 60% at 30 HP. This is her chaotic side coming out. And then her nightmare side is she gets the nightmare bonuses on nightmare side. So if you run her in a chaotic team, this is going to be amplified depending on which lord you have. So one Gone, he's going to give another 60% damage boost to her, but also she's going to gain an extra 20% attack and defense when HP's below 30% with Gone. So this turns into 80% with a 60% damage increase. She becomes absurdly strong at that point. Valderon, pretty much he's got the same 60% damage increase at 30 HP. His damage his unique lord skill is very selfish. It's mainly just for him. And then Vladov, I think his name is, yeah, Vladov, he does 40% damage increase at 30% HP. So you want to pair her with Gone and she will excel massively. Her basic attack, when skilled up, does 120% damage to one enemy. She is a single target, single range physical damage dealer. So she is kind of outside the meta, but she does have some very niche uses, and that comes into effect with her ultimate. I am spending a lot of time on here, so I'm going to speed up a little bit. So her plunging slash, she does vulnerability up to 20% and a lot of damage, and this does attack up to 2 squares in front of her. There's a cooldown of this on 2 seconds, so reduces plunging slashes by 2 seconds during the ultimate. So yeah, there's a 20-second cooldown on this. Will of Steel, when her HP drops below 30%, she restores 2 HP per second, and she triggers instead during the ultimate. So if instead of triggering Will of Steel where she restores HP, if she's using her ultimate, she enters a unyielding state upon taking fatal damage and then dies immediately when the ultimate ends. This can be triggered 1 time per deployment. So this pretty much makes it so until the end of her ultimate, she is immortal. She is just doing damage. She has a decreased arena cost by 4. And then her ultimate, what it does is it increases her damage by a ton. So it increases her damage at max skill of, what's that, 120%? 120% increased damage. She does have a 2 range on this. Each attack consumes 10% of the current HP and generates 1 stack of Power of the Sword. Stacks up to 8. Power of the Sword, burst damage. It does burst damage at the end. So the hero cannot be healed during this skill, which is why the unyielding comes into effect. And when the skill ends, she deals 400% burst damage to the main target and 4 targets around them. So this is a little bit of AoE damage. However, if she stacks up to 8 stacks of Power of the Sword, this turns into, what's that, 400%? Turns into 800% plus another 40%, I believe. It's a ton of damage. I'm just going to put it at that. It's a ton of damage. It lasts 16 seconds. So if you trigger this right as she's about to die, she's just alive for an extra 16 seconds, doing a bunch of DPS for you. Uh, but she will die at the very end. She is very powerful, and she's been power crept a little bit, but she has very niche uses that only she covers. So now that I'm 5 minutes in, I'm not going to go into her awakenings. Her awakenings are fairly good, but we are here for the new unit. This new unit is the first in the Toxic Outbreak event, and she is Numera. She is a Piercer Esoterus. She is a ground unit. She's a fighter. She does magic damage, and she does a ton of poisons, from what I understand. So we'll start out with her her talent. Her talent is basic attack grants 1 Grimthorn Spike, and a Grimthorn Spike, blessed by Elm, can be launched at enemies to deal damage. This effect can maintain a maximum of 4 Grimthorn Spikes at once. When having 4 Grimthorn Spikes, basic attack has a 50% chance to launch 1 extra Grimthorn Strike, dealing 400% damage, and inflicts 1 stack of poison, restoring 40 and restores 40 rage for the hero. This can be poison can be stacked up to 10 times, but pretty much she stacks up to 4 Grimthorn Spikes, and her basic attack, she deals 100% damage to 1 enemy 1 time. This goes up to 120, and she has arrogance range. So we'll go over her base stats here in a second. So passive number 1, Poison Wood Branch. Nature's Wrath's Grimthorn Spikes additionally inflicts stun when at least 4 Grimthorn Spikes hit the same target in a short period of time. Triggers 1 time of Toxic Surge with 30% damage per stack. So the stun duration goes up to a second and a half, and then the Toxic Surge damage goes up to 50%. Now, what Toxic Surge does is it consumes the poison effects inflicted on the target. So I believe this consumes all poisons. I'm not 100% positive on it, but that's how it reads. Some of the test server guys have been able to test her out. I'm hoping to get her tomorrow so I can test her out too. But we will see. But dealing a certain amount, so let's start from the beginning here. Sorry. Consumes the poison effects inflicted on the target, dealing a certain amount of magic damage based on the poison stacks consumed, up to 30. So this can consume up to 30 stacks of poison. Now at 50% per stack, let's pull out the calculator. So 50 times 30, we're looking at 1,500% damage. That is a ton of damage for her passive. Now, I believe this only works during her ult. Yes, Nature's Wrath. But this is huge. Passive number 2. Also, because each Grimthorn Spike inflicts stun, it does make her viable for Guild Boss 2 as well. And it doesn't even take anything away from her for inflicting this stun. I don't know how efficient she is with the stuns, but I imagine she can be pretty good with it. So, passive number 2. Each Grimthorn Spike inflicts Grimthorn Roots, deals continuous true damage equal to 21% of the caster's attack per second, stacking up to 6 times, and it cannot be dispelled. So this is just continuous damage, and it goes up to 21, 24, 27, 30% damage. Solid. And it inflicts damage reduction on the enemy hit. This starts at 20%, which is solid, but it goes up to 30%, which is, I believe, the strongest in the game. It's tied with the strongest in the game at the very least. I don't think we have a 35 or 40. So this makes her almost a must-have if you don't have somebody like Volca that you could fit into your team, or if you don't want to try and fit what's his name? Yeah, the old mage dude from the Arbiters. I can't think of his name right now. He does it. In it does damage reduction. There's a few ground units that are epics that do it as well. The epic tank from Nightmares, she does it, but she's hard to keep alive. But this, she's doing the damage reduction while dealing a ton of damage. So she is probably going to be the new best unit to use for the damage reduction if she can keep it up 100% of the time. That I'm not sure on, so we will see. So her ultimate, Nature's Wrath, immediately gains 2 extra Grimthorn spikes and rapidly launches all Grimthorn spikes to random enemies in range after charging a short period. Each spike dealing 440% damage and inflicting 1 stack of poison. This goes up to, let's see, 480, 520% damage, and it inflicts 1 stack of poison each. So ideally you end up with 6 Grimthorn spikes that she launches. So that'd be pretty much 6 stuns, it should be, for Guild Boss 2, and 6 extra poisons, which would be consumed by this. So there's that. But this is an 1100 cost, goes down to 900, and she starts with 600. Now this is a fairly expensive ult. It's 900 cost. However, she has a chance of restoring 40 rage on every attack. Now obviously she's also got a chance not to restore 40 rage on every attack. So this is kind of a coin flip, but she is going to be absurdly powerful. And she looks really cool. She from what I understand, she is going to be one of the top damage dealers in most boss content because she is single target. She is a single target unit through and through. She does hard control and continuous damage. So let's look at her awakenings. Now, I'll be honest, I have not looked at her awakenings, and that was actually the first time I fully read through her kit. So I am really hoping to get her tomorrow. So A1, during the ultimate, increases damage by 25%. Awesome, she just does more damage. And damage dealt by Grimthorn Spike, or increases damage by 25% dealt by Grimthorn Spike and Toxic Surge, guarantees a critical hit. This is fairly irrelevant. You're looking at always crit capping her anyways, but increasing the damage dealt by Grimthorn Spike by 25%, awesome. Attack 300 for A2, that's average. So her A3, when attacking enemies, ignores 20% magic resistance. Each time Nature's Wrath is cast, this effect increases by an extra 5%, up to 25%, up to an extra 25% increase. This means for long fights, Semra, Apocalypse 2, she would eventually be ignoring 45% magic resistance. This is insane. It's just going to increase her damage by a ton. So A4, of course, penetration, increase her damage some more. A5 heals the hero for 20% of the true damage dealt by Grimthorn roots. This, it feels kind of bad as an A5, but it is good in general. This just helps her tankiness. This helps her stay alive. Would I pull the A5 for her just for this? Probably not. It's not worth it in that sense. But she is going to be a very powerful unit. And I know what most people are thinking when you look at her. It's like, okay, great. She's a poisoner. She does a lot of damage. But she doesn't really fit in with anybody as a piercer or an esoterist. Well, esoterists are getting a new lord on Saturday. And this is the Lord, Nastia. I will go over her kit tomorrow on Friday, and we will talk about her. Pretty much what this video is getting at is, should you summon tomorrow? If you have summons, yes. Yes, you should. Numera, very good. And honestly, Valeria is a good consolation prize if you don't get Numera. Is she going to fit the same role? Definitely not. She's not going to do anything close to what Numera does. They are very different units with being fighters. However, in the most baseline version of them both, they both do a buttload of damage. So if you need damage, single target damage specifically, let me give that little caveat. Single target damage. They both do a buttload of single target damage. So if you need single target damage, tomorrow is the banner to go for. We are also getting this shard summon for Vixera. I will go over her kit also because she's likely going to be within the summon pool when Nastia comes out. She might not though. They could delay her. So we will see when Nastia comes out, and I will go over her kit either way. So look out for videos on that. And like I said, should you summon tomorrow? Yes, you should. You should summon for Numera, and hope you get Numera. She is an excellent unit and looks to be a new power creep in the meta. So that will do it for this video. Are you looking forward to the Toxic Outsurge? By the way, this guy right here is Vorn, and he is another unit that is not necessarily essential, but amazing for this poisoner team that these three create. So we will probably be getting his banner next weekend, to be completely honest. So if you get Numera, I'd recommend getting out early and saving if you get her. If you don't get her, she is, I think, the most important of this poison squad because of the Toxic Surge. But yes, that will do it for this video. If you liked it, definitely put a like on there. It helps me out a ton. Not monetarily or anything like that, just, mood wise. If you did like the content and you want to see more of what I have to say about the units coming up, definitely subscribe for future content. I will be putting those videos out ASAP. And if you have anything that you want specifically tested or looked at, let me know in the comments below, and I'll be more than happy to look into that for you. I should have a summon video out tomorrow, as well as a video going over Nastia. So there'll be 2 videos today, which is getting pretty late. 2 videos tomorrow, hopefully, and then probably 2 videos the next day as well. So I should have quite a bit of content coming out in the next couple days. So yeah, definitely hit the notification bell if you want to see that, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.